Well, what's going on, social media family? Yours truly, Joe Dupree in the building. 100 BLK, the Black Station. And family, it feels like I just was on here just a few minutes ago, but actually this morning I came on and we were checking on folks. So this is a follow-up on the checkup. Yeah, this is a follow-up on the checkup. Hopefully all of you are doing well. And as I once told a good friend of mine, we're going to try to get by with a little help from our friends. And as you see scrolling at the bottom, in case you want to join in on the conversation, it is cold, baby. It is cold outside. It is cold outside. All over this great United States of America, it is cold. Very few places are not cold. And I'm so blessed and honored on this show as I do another hashtag Truth Be Told. And truth be told, I am so honored to have this person I'm about to bring on the screen in here. We're going to be also joined by the conduit, Shana Sias, along with a good friend of mine that started community conversations with me a long time ago. Yeah, community conversations was started. Somebody need to give somebody a little credit somewhere. Me and brother Fatim Muhammad started that a long time ago because we were both living in two different cities, but we were coming up with the same issues, and we wanted to have the conversations that we believed our community needed to have in order to bring about a resolution and let people know, even though you might be miles apart, you're dealing with the same situation. So first person I want to bring on. Let me bring on my dear beloved niece who works at KAZ as in Zebra, I as in Indiana, in the building. My girl, Willie Sue Anderson. Hey, Willie, what's happening?
Hey, Uncle Joe.
What's cracking? What's going on in Austin? Is it cold?
My skin cracking. And they say black don't crack, but in this weather, I see a few cracks along the way.
Well, I say something might be cracking. Something might be cracking.
Crackle pop. Yes.
Snap, crackle, pop. So, Austin, Texas, the capital city of Texas, home of the University of Texas, Hook'em Horns. And Willie Sue, tell me what's going on in your neck of woods. What's happening in Texas?
Earlier, when we spoke, I was sharing with you that, hey, put me in. We have a lot of great things going on. What I'm loving is the unity and community. There is a space that I just left a little while ago called the Village Place.
Okay.
And a group of sisters came together forming the Black Mamas Village.
Okay.
And right now we are in partnership with some other community members to assist our unhoused neighbors.
That's great. Now coming to the screen, my brother from another mother, NYC's very own, WBLS's very own. You know him from Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton. You know him from many places. The open lines on WBLS. It's my brother, like no other, Fatim Muhammad. Boy, you should have ran out. See, that was one of them come out on the court type things.
I see that's what I needed to really wake up, And first of all, let me just say good afternoon to my sister. And I love the words that we use as people of color, Black people. We use these words. This is not a criticism, y'all. It's just that sometimes we put words into our vocabulary and we don't really think what's behind it. It's like somebody said, "How you doing, brother?" Oh, I'm hanging. Or how's it down there? Is it cracking? You understand what I'm saying? Crackling, you know what I'm saying? And it's amazing how we as people take words that have been offensive to us and turn them around and make them useful for us. And, at times it's not that we purposely do this, that we glorify these words. It's just that at the end of the day, we push these words so far back out to the back of our mind, we come up with and create other ones. So I just want to say that to other people. But good afternoon to everybody. I'm half asleep because it's just a busy day with Reverend Sharpton yesterday and trying to work and get the President Biden on his show yesterday. And if you ever work to try to get a president on a show, it's a lot of work behind the scenes to coordinate schedules and everything. And then it was policy day at Reverend Sharpton's National Action Network in Harlem yesterday. So from the mayor and Senator Chuck Schumer, he's sitting right next to me, and I needed him to do some things, but it's just busy. But that's what we do. That's what we do. We do what we need to do to hold the rope so that we can move together and move forward as a people.
Yes, we are the plug. Don't catch it. Don't look at it no other way. Many of us are attached to and work for other major media outlets, but we are the source of the information that our people need in order to come together and understand they can hear it from our perspective. Many a times the reason we can't move forward is many a times we won't venture in spaces where we don't see faces that are familiar faces to us. So I am so blessed to have y'all on here. I know Shauna will be coming on here soon. Let's go back to Austin. I know you can't stay on long for team, but let's go back to Austin.
I'm good right now. Don't worry about it. I'm good.
Okay,
I'm
well, we're in the building. Also, let me give a shameless plug to both of them. First, to Willie Sue. You can listen to her if you're in the Austin area at KAZI, and they be definitely doing their thing in the community. So what frequency is that on the FM dial, Willie Sue?
It is 88.7 FM.
Okay, that part. Brother Fatim, if y'all don't know the #1 Black radio station in the whole country, Arbitron rated, Nielsen rated, WBLS in New York. Some folk, they have often been often imitated but never duplicated. And you can catch him on the open lines. I have been blessed to be at BLS with him. He told me about a good programming friend of mine, Skip, who has moved on to somewhere else, but I got nothing but love for Skip. And us programmers, us guys who know how to put the ones and the twos together and make it flow. Somebody asked me if I had to do an old school throwback show, how would I do it for team? And I said I would start off with Billy Ocean, One of Them Nights, follow it up with the Average White Band, Pick Up the Pieces, then drop in a little of that central. We walking in the sunshine before it's all over. And I'm gonna close that thing. I'm gonna close that thing out with a little Gino Vanelli, because I just want to stop and tell you how much I love you, baby. See, but you gotta be a programmer to understand how that flow gonna go. I'm just saying it.
You got to be a programmer, and you understand and follow in the footsteps of the late Frankie Crocker, who was an icon at 107.5 WBLS. And just to thank Willie for what she does at her FM station. WBLS is celebrating their 50th anniversary this year. So when you talk about that type of programming and playing good quality music, and not just and we as Black people have created so much great music, but there's so much great music done by so many other artists. We call some of the artists that are white artists, we call it Blue Eye Soul out there.
Come on now.
So it's great when you hear someone like you say, I would play this, I would play that, because we have to introduce our young folks to a variety of music, a variety of good music out there. So just real quick, 107.5 is WBLS on FM, and WBLS.com, and Open Line, the show that I host, besides Away from Reverend Sharpton, that I host is airs Sunday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. Eastern time. I have a co-host, Jennifer Jones Austin, and then I do the Open Line online broadcast, which is done on WBLS's Facebook page, and you can locate that at WBLS 107.5 NYC, one word. And of course, Joe, you definitely was on that show where we had Grandmaster Brother Jay on that show, where a lot of people would not even give that brother a platform to speak on. And Amen. We provide any and all. We've put on the Aryan Nation. We put the Aryan Nation on in the past on our show, and we just told them one thing: you could not be disrespectful to us, and you could not use the N-word. You could not do that. But we wanted our folks to hear your perspective, to hear where you was coming from, and you were definitely going to hear their perspective, and that's what dialogue is about.
Yes, it is. So, Willie Sue, I'm going to go solo to you. Tell us what's going on in Austin, Texas. What is happening in your neck of the woods? I know the weather is cold. I know you have some major interstates that run through Austin. I'm pretty sure they're iced up. What are the people being told in Austin, especially I still call them homeless. They say that's very disrespectful. It's like they say that's like not calling an Indian a Native American, but the unhomed and those who are seeking shelter in this type of weather. What's going on in your city?
I mentioned before that various organizations are partnering to support our unhoused neighbors. And yes, people who are experiencing homelessness. Bottom line, these are brothers and sisters in need. And one of the organizations that I am blessed to be affiliated with is Black Mama's Village, and located and housed online initially. but now it's also a physical place that we can gather together to support others. And the partnership today has been with another organization to bring clothing, food, and other items to our neighbors, our unhoused
Amen.
neighbors.
Amen.
There's so many others that I could probably name, but that's just, I am giving a, not even ashamed to say, it's a big plug, as you say.
It's supposed to.
Yes, to the Black mamas coming together and collaborating.
Right.
Yes.
Good to see the sisters coming together. Brother Fatim, I know you just made it back into South Carolina from New York City. New York, I'm pretty sure if the snow ain't there, it's on the way. And this country of ours is experiencing some Arctic blast like never before. In my home state of Tennessee, I know in my hometown that I grew up in, that now let me give another real fact here. Willie Sue Anderson, the lady that just got off, is my actual niece. That is my brother's daughter. Now, she older than me. She like a big sister to me, and she's always been there for me. But we are family. We are a part of, I know y'all all call me Joe Dupree, but my name is really Joe Anderson. Better yet, Joey Anderson, but we ain't gonna go there. But let's talk about NYC. I know you just left there with Dr. Sharpton, with the president of the United States of America, Joe Biden, and that conversation with the Iowa caucuses going on right now. Looks like the front runner on the other side, since it is the Democrats versus the Republican, look like the front runner is going to be Donald Trump. And you're back in South Carolina, home of former governor Nikki Haley. So tell me what's going on in your neck of the woods.
I got two sides. That Willie Sue's gonna get you. You don't say she's older than me. I got you, Willie Sue. I got your back. I got your back. But the Iowa caucus you ran yesterday. Matter of fact, Donald Trump won that. We had about close to almost 51%. Nikki Haley came in third. They were saying she was surging in the polls. But what's happening in both sides for me, first in New York City, it's cold. That's nothing new. But what's happening in the Northeast, parts of the Northeast, I'm not talking about upstate New York and Buffalo, because they always get snow, but droughts in New York City, New Jersey, Philadelphia, there has not been much snow. So last night I put a video on Facebook as I was coming in and showed that it snowed. It snowed about anywhere from 3 to 4 inches around the city of New York. But like you said, this polar vortex that is coming from the north, coming out of Canada, is reaching down into Texas or down south. It is
Louisiana, right here.
Exactly. So it is a lot of cold weather going on. This is an election year, so a lot of people are just gearing up for an election year. In South Carolina, people are just moving to and fro. The weather hasn't been too bad, a little bit more colder, a little colder than it normally is in the Carolinas. But they said because of the El Nino that is taking place, that we were going to, the South in your region, in Willie Sue's region, and in the Southeast, we will see more storms this year and colder weather. So that's what's pretty going on. But Joe, I have a quick question for Willie Sue.
Talk to me.
Sister Willie Sue, one of the things that took place last year that we noticed was the cold weather and along with the precipitation that affected Texas. And the grid took a major hit. And one of the things that they were very concerned about was when the cold air beginning this week would reach Texas, especially some of the biggest cities like Dallas, would they be able to handle? And Reverend Sharpton's, our main hub runs through Dallas. And so far we were able to do things not too bad. But first of all, commend to your organization doing for those that are needy, because you just don't realize it when you come in a warm house. There's other people that don't have a warm place to go. So thank you for all what you and your sisters are doing. But how is the grid holding up out there, with the electricity compared to last year?
So far, I have not heard of the rollouts, but just as you were speaking, I was, looking up information. I did hear of briefly, even last week, that there was some people in Houston were experiencing a few rolling outages. So right now we're holding up as I speak, but I will do my research and tell you more. Yes.
Sounds good.
So
Thank
it does appear that they learned from what happened the last time. And guess what? The L's that you take can't always be losses. Some of them's got to be lessons where you learn and make the adjustments in order to bring about the change, because guess what? Some things are definitely going to repeat themselves. Now, Brother
Joe,
Fatim,
Joe, wait. Quick question to you, Joe. This
Okay.
may not be your team, but I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, even though I'm out of New York. You said L's should be times can also be learning processes. The Dallas
They can.
Cowboys have not won since 1995. They got a lot of losses in the playoffs, my brother. When are they
But
going
they still-
to learn?
Hey, they're gonna learn. Listen, look like, you know, I'm a Steelers fan. I don't know if you can see it. I got a terrible towel behind me. And watch this. And Willie Sue will testify to this. One of our relatives, Ed Too Tall Jones, played for the Cowboys.
Right.
And you know, for me being a Steeler fan in a family full of Cowboys, it wasn't easy, but it was what it was. But at the end of the day, let me say this. I think the Dallas Cowboys have a great organization, and everybody, guess why? Here's why I say they're a great organization. How many organizations can raise their hand and say they got 5 championships? I'll wait. I'll wait. It's not too many. Not too many can say they got 5. There's not. To be exact, I think it's only the Cowboys. I think it's only the 49ers. And I think it's only the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Patriots. I think there's only 4 teams that can say that.
Right.
I don't even think Green Bay, with the Lombardi trophy that was named after that, they can't say they got 5 championships. So I'm not a Cowboy fan, never have been a Cowboy fan. Most of the times I'm ABC, anybody but the Cowboys. However, now that their coach is no longer the coach, you might be getting a 1K side coach that happens to have been a coach of the black and yellow, because that's the rumors swirling around that Mike Tomlin, with his I ain't lost in a long time. I don't know how it feels to have a losing season. Jerry Jones might come up off them dineros that he's sitting on, because he's sitting on plenty, and say, come on, Mike, I need you down here in Dallas, Texas to do your thing. And guess what? If he leaves Pittsburgh to go to Dallas, I will congratulate him. My little feelings going to be hurt. But guess what? I understand that in the process of getting to your true place of prosperity, sometimes you got to go through a little pain. Guess what? Maybe that's what Dallas is going through right now, the pain of the process to get them to the promised land of prosperity.
No pain, no gain.
That's it.
Well, I'm not as diehard of a fan of the sports as you all seem to be very knowledgeable of. But as he stated, our family has a long running history of just rooting for the Cowboys. Well, a lot of us do. So if you had my brother James on here talking, or
it'd be some smoke.
Sandra,
it'd be some smoke.
Nation, y'all. Leave them alone.
It'd be some smoke in the building. Shauna Sayers hopefully will be coming on. Listen, if you want to join the conversation, 225-250-8770. So, Brother Fatim, I just want to throw this out here since I got you on here. We're going to have the difficult conversation about politics. Here's why. Family, we need to go vote. Right now in the state of Louisiana, because of the census, we are trying to create another minority-majority district, and we are catching hell doing it. So we need to understand the power of our vote. Furthermore, I asked myself this, Fatim, because you know what I just finished dealing with. And once again, I have nothing negative to say about anybody. I'm proud to know that people have went and voted and have exercised their right to vote. Because here in the city, the municipality I live in, we just had a mayor's race that was very contentious, was very ugly, in my opinion. And the person who appointed me to the chief of minority affairs, which was our former mayor, Josh Guillory, got defeated by the new incumbent mayor, which is Kathleen Blanco's daughter. Her name is Monique Boulay, Monique Blanco Boulay, or Monique Boulay. And of course, because of her winning and the guy who appointed me losing, I'm no longer the chief of minority affairs. To be exact, I'm no longer employed by the municipality here. And that's just how it goes. It's neither here nor there. That's just how it goes. However, elections have consequences. Now, both of them were Republican. So I asked myself this, though she was highly supported by people of color, because a lot of us said that we rather have the devil we know than the devil we can't stand. You know, the question is, if Donald Trump winds up being the forerunner or the nominee for the Republican Party, and the way people of color feel about Donald Trump, I wonder, because she is a Republican and she has, of course, in any party, you have certain agreements you have to make when you carry the party banner. I wonder, will she, and maybe I need to get her on here and ask that question. If Donald Trump is the nominee, will she support Donald Trump? Maybe I'm asking a hypothetical question, but Fatim, how you feel about that?
Well, it's numerous things there, you know, and it's a lot that's going through my head, because when Reverend Sharpton was going off just now, somebody called in to his show, and they were talking about the right to vote and having your choice to pick whoever you choose to. And Reverend Sharpton says, you definitely have a right to choose whoever you choose for. He said, the problem is that when you choose a person, don't shut the conversation down. So if I choose someone, and he was talking about, he knows Donald Trump personally, and this is why he emphatically would not vote for Donald Trump. He has to listen to those that just say that, listen, I will vote for Donald Trump, or I would not vote for President Biden. I think one of the things, let me just say, politics is local. And a lot of times a lot of people are not motivated until every 4 years. And they tend to come out more and vote for the president. But you got to realize that these local governments, as you just said, Joe, you're trying to create something in your community. You got to get people motivated to do that. I was just thinking, I've never, ever said this. It just came through when you was talking to me, Joe. It's, we talk about having the right to vote. And I think that sometimes we're looking at this equation, and maybe we're looking at this a little differently in the time we're in. Back in the day, because we were behind the 8 ball, and don't think that we're still above the 8 ball, but we still having challenges, but things have changed where we've made some progress, but then we see some things being rolled back. But we try to motivate people, saying you have the right to vote, and look why you should go out there and vote because of A, B, and C. And I think that a lot of times we try to motivate people on candidates that honestly don't motivate them. And I think we have to do a better job of grooming people to become good or great candidates. Look how Senator Obama motivated people to come out to vote. People registered that never registered before to come out and vote. We got to put out candidates that are not only going to talk the talk, but going to walk the walk. And then there's other people that now say, well, I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden. Some, not a lot, but some people say I'm not going to vote because of what's going on and how the United States is responding to the Israel situation. We already know that the Hamas situation on the innocent people was horrific, and it has been spoken out, but what Israel has done to Gaza and the Palestinian people, over 20,000 people killed. A lot of people are having a hard time swallowing that from an administration that says that I represent you as a people. And if you represent them as a people, and knowing what we as Black people went through in this country, how do you do genocide? What is going on in Gaza is genocide. And it's just very hard to vote for somebody that they said they with you and come vote for me.
Man, that's deep. I said this earlier today when I was on my first morning podcast, really just checking in on folks, because I want to bring this up. The reason I'm back on here is to emphasize to everybody, check on the P's, check on people, pets, pipes, plants, anything that you care about that has your heart. You need to check on it. Check on your elderly neighbors. See if they're okay, see if they need something, because in weather like this, you just don't know what's going on. I'm fortunate that in the area that I am in, they have some, I haven't looked at all, but I know some of the energy companies who have notices to cut people's lights off because they haven't paid, have suspended that until after this cold stench is over. I know that last night we had a blackout in my area that lasted about an hour. In times like this, you need to check on folks because some folks cannot endure the cold like you can. And I'm asking, are we really our brothers and our sisters keepers? So that's the main reason I started doing this today, because I do this daily. I have nothing else to do now. I do this daily. But Brother Fatim, back on the politics, how do you feel about an individual who was Republican and maybe flipped over Democrat, or a person who was Democrat and flipped over Republican? How you feel about folk who do that? I posed that question to both of you, to you and Willie Sue. How do y'all feel?
Since I just responded, let Willie Sue respond first.
Go ahead, Willie Sue. The floor is yours.
Most recently, I was listening to National Public Radio, as well as there's Texas Standard, and that does come up as a reality that people change perspectives, but it's calls to questions. It's called into questioning as to, is this a strategic move to kind of sway the people? I've always been associated with the Democratic Party. However, I've had some questions about all the parties. And I'm still learning. When I was in college, I learned about the political action committees and the PACs, rather, and just how much influence is in the money. And do we really know who our candidates? And I'm thinking that these folks are in bed together, so to speak. They were that Republican. I just think that they have a system that it's a stage. I mean, I know it's real, but it's some staging going on in my perspective.
So here's what I like to say, and because I have just got out of government, to be exact, last month I was working for local government. I believe in one party, and I believe that party's name should be the Do Right Party. They don't exist. The party that is concerned about the greater good of everybody who's an American citizen, no matter what color they are, no matter how much money they have, no matter what their position or stance is, should be the Do Right Party, the Do Right Party. But unfortunately, politics is ran by those who CTC, cut the check.
Was there not a Do Right Party at one point in history?
I really don't know. That's questionable depending on your perspective. That's kind of hard to say, Willie Sue, because once again, I believe that this country has always been ran by individuals who have power and money. Let's just be real about it. We can say what we want to, and we can fashion it how we want to, but how many poor folks do you know that get elected to office on any level? Let's just ask that. The truth about it is, folk make promises. And promises that they make while they're campaigning, some of those promises have to be fulfilled because those are the people who CTC. They cut the check. They cut the check because media costs money these days for political advertising. The most expensive media that you will have is political media. And Shauna is on here commenting. I don't know why she's not on here with us, but she's welcome to call in, or you are welcome to call in and tell us how you feel about it. On this cold 16th day of January, you can call in at 225-250-8770, wherever you're at in the nation, if you like to speak on this, because politics these days are the haves and the have-nots.
These days?
Yeah, these days. I think it's been this way, but nevertheless, these days it's really big because we've had some Supreme Court passings where it used to be you had to disclose who you were if you were given money. That doesn't have to happen anymore. So now, and watch this. That's why elections matter. Let's talk about it. You're a woman. Not only are you my niece, you are a grown woman with children and grandchildren. But right now, the Supreme Court says, wait a minute. When it comes down to your body, when it comes down to certain decisions that you need to make, if you make those decisions for your health, your family, or for your peace of mind, it is illegal in this country now. It is illegal. It is against the law, period.
And I
just feel like no government body, government to some parties, I'm not going to name who the parties are, you figure it out. Government is always being taunted that we need less government until it's an issue they need to have dealt with for their greater good. Then all of a sudden, government need to be all in it. My sister,
including the education. So as far as what books we can or cannot read, are you trying to erase us as a people? You're going to tell that folks were indentured servants. They chose to be here.
We were happy. Happy. Your grandmother, your grandmother on both sides, they were happy to pick that cotton, child. Child, they were happy. They were happy to sharecrop the land that was over 300-400 acres that they never owned themselves. They were grateful. They were grateful. They were grateful. They were grateful. You know, they should be blessed that they wasn't running around in the jungle with some tiger on their ass.
Yeah.
What?
That's it. Y'all said a lot, and I did not write anything down. I'm gonna try to hit the points I want to make because you both said a lot. So the first thing is, and I can't take this saying because it comes from the late Grammy Award winning James Mtume, that was a part of our open line talk show for over 20 years. And one of his we call them Mtumeisms was he would say left wing, right wing, left wing, right wing. They're all on the same bird. So when you ask us, they are distinguished between the parties, they basically are on the same bird. Right there. The question was, is there a do-right party, or has there ever been a do-right party? I think that there was a time that there was more of a party that was about trying to do right. And if you look back at, again, I'm not trying to elevate the Democratic Party, but you know that the Republican Party had done back in the 60s and 70s and even 80s, they had this whole thing is that they were the conservative party. We want to save money, smaller government, this, that, and the other. The Democrats, and remember, before Lincoln, Black folks were Republicans. That switched during Kennedy, but we don't need to go to that.
Teach it.
We'll say that one. But looking at the Democratic Party, especially when Black folks were starting to become mayors and governors and coming into power, you understand, they were fighting for the people.
Come on.
And not
against Strom Thurmond and the Strom Thurmond Republic. Come on.
Yeah. And you got to remember, there was donors, but not the way the lobbyists and the money is out there now. And people were trying to do the right thing. And when they was trying to do the right thing, it was also an atmosphere. Atmosphere that people were trying to do the right thing. So when you talk about Roe versus Wade, you talk about affirmative action, talk about these things that were put in place, and these legislators putting out legislation to be for the people. That was honestly the Democratic Party's push. Not to say that they didn't have their hands, there was issues, but it was more of doing for the people. Now today, it's about these donors and this, I don't want to say government, but these powerful corporations' interests. You understand what I'm saying? Why can't we get gun legislation now? Because the NRA is such a powerful lobbyist group
with the gun manufacturers.
They have certain folks in the Republican Party, but some are in the Democratic Party. But but they're using they're the puppeteers, and those folks that's supposed to represent us are the puppets. So when it comes down to pass this legislation, how many mass shootings, when kids are killed in school with mass shootings, and you can't get government to pass legislation on do right and sensible legislation that is going to help us as a people, it shows that we are sorry as a people. And I don't want to bring religion in here because we all have different backgrounds and religion, but it says in the good book, the Bible, that honestly, we're not the only dynasty that we haven't fallen yet. But there was dynasties before us that had fallen. And why? Because the greed of the people. And it seems that now we are so separated. So you ask the question, how do you feel about somebody flipping from Republican to Democrat and vice versa? It's an ideology now that if you go into the Republican Party, you don't even vote against your constituents, even if you want to, because they will isolate you and scapegoat you. So now you're not voting on your best interest. You're voting for the interest of the folks that are controlling them. So
Mhm.
that's where politics are now. And if we continue like this, we are going to destroy ourselves.
Puppets to the puppet master. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, the conduit, Shana Sias. I know you're on the line, Shana. Talk to me. Talk to me.
Good afternoon, everybody. The reason why I didn't call in is because I had the two straggling dogs.
Right.
that
You
decided to
taking
show
care of
up.
some pets that walked up to your
Right.
humble
And
abode.
I need to be able to mute the phone abruptly. So, but I was listening in. Good afternoon to both of the guests that are on right now. Y'all said a whole lot of, but what I captured was gun control regulation and picking cotton. I
Hmm.
know that doesn't seem to go together, but the reason why they're not going to come up with this great gun reform is the same reason why marijuana is still criminal. It's because it's money involved,
Mm.
right? Guns sell a lot of, they make a lot of money in more ways than one.
Mhm.
A gun these days is kind of like a stethoscope to a nurse. Depending on what you're doing, you got to have it.
Mm.
Okay, whether it be in law enforcement or street pharmacy, right? The monetary value benefits them folk that, like the brother said, are up there writing the checks and cutting the checks. And they get there because we elect our friends sometimes. And why we elect our friends? Because they're part of a certain political group. And personally speaking, I'm 48 years old. I was part of the era that our parents was trying to get us to understand politics and policies and how it was going to affect us, and we didn't give two shits about it. So I am at the point now that I'm just starting to realize that the reason on a smaller level, like our local government fails, is because we elect people who are friends, not friends who can actually do the job. We will absolutely be okay with putting someone in office because we've been know them. I knew them. I knew their mama. Me and their daddy went to school together. I don't care. If they're not taking into account the people and the pain that they are going through, trying to come up with a resolve and not just a temporary band-aided resolution, we gonna continue to be, and yes, we will be part of the next fallen dynasty, because the children coming behind it, they're not the ones Whitney was singing.
Come on. So I just had to post something because here,
Please
of
post
course,
that
like
back
as
up there. Please
as
post that.
I got to. So right now in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which is the state capital of Louisiana, they are trying to create another majority minority district because the census has connotated, and the Supreme Court has said this needs to happen because it is fair and equitable to the people of Louisiana. I got to say this, and folk gonna think I'm throwing shade at somebody. I could care less. A fact is a fact. We got to stop having folks show up in our churches, show up in our communities, and we don't see them until election time, and say that they're with us and for us because they need our vote to get to where they need to get to. But after that, you don't see them no more. Better yet, let's rephrase that. If our vote gets them into office, we're waiting for the media to give us credit for getting them into office. Why have they not said, I am thankful for Black folk getting me in office, for it had not been for the Black vote, I would not be where I'm at today. That's my question. Why is it that we do what we do and the people we do it for does not acknowledge publicly that they are thankful for us showing up and showing out for them? See, many a times we give what we give to folks because we're like mice being led by the Pied Piper. But the question is, did we ever get somebody to at least give us a 3-part written plan that they signed off on that said, if we get them in the office, this is what they're going to do for us, Brother Fatim.
Yeah, so you said a lot. I'm in to break that down. I'm not going to break it down too far, but it's a mentality. It's a mentality. It's that we go to the people that we need, and then once we get what we need from them, since they don't have that power, that lobbying power, then you know what? I can basically continue to. I hate to use the word manipulate them, but I can continue to do this to them every time that I need them, because we go to them in the 11th hour, talk their talk, even walk their walk. But then when we get their vote, then we change our stripes at the end of the day. The problem with this is because when they come to the Black community, and please understand what I'm saying, this is not a disrespect, but look at this collectively, not just in your area, but
Truth be
across
told.
the country,
Truth be told.
collectively,
Truth
we
be
don't
told.
have the power. We don't have the power. If we had the power and we had the boycotting power, and they did that to us, and we send the message back to them that, oh, you won't get this, you won't get this dollar, you won't get this support, then they will not only run to us and get our vote, they will work for us consistently at the end of the day. Now, this is where we're at now. We as Black people that have been doing this, we're tired. The problem is what is at stake. And when we look at a Donald Trump and we look at a Joe Biden, but Black people are tired of being manipulated. And they're starting to say that we are going to send a message, even if it burns the damn house down now. We'll let Trump get back in there to send a message to the Democrats that we're tired of the okie doke and we're tired of you doing this. Is this right? No, it's not logical right, but we are being tired of used and misused and abused, and we will send this message back. We're tired of being played with, and this is what we will do. And unfortunately, it may burn the whole house down.
Well, we have two very highly intelligent women on the show today. One, my niece, another person who is a very good friend of mine. And I know a lot of the issues that women deal with are literally being legislated by a conservative faction that is saying, you do as we say because we said do it. Sister Shana, before I go to Sister Anderson, Sister Sias, how you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I've said this before, and I'll try to say it as palatable as I can again. Women, since the beginning of time, have been regulated by a man, whether it be a white one or a Black one. Our body parts have always been up for question and discussion. Not one time has a man had to go and ask permission for a vasectomy. Not one time has a man been brought to court and told what to do with his reproductive organs. But yet now in 2024, we are now having to ask permission to get rid of a fetus that could possibly cause septicemia and kill us. We have to, talk about if an 11-year-old is put in a predicament where she is raped or a victim of incest and is impregnated, that she must carry that child. So yeah, we like the brother said, sometimes we get tired of doing it, quote, the right way or their way or this way. Sometimes you have to burn the whole house down.
So I'm gonna go to Sister Anderson. I wanted y'all, I wish I could have, before Sister Saya said what she just said, I wish I could have told y'all, close your eyes. And once she finished saying what she said, imagine that should be your mother, your daughter, your sister, your auntie, or your wife, or someone that you love dearly, that they're put in that predicament, that if they should need to have an abortion because of some of the reasons she stated, not because they wanted to, because it's life-threatening to them, they were raped or there was incest, that if they did it in certain states in this country, such as Texas or Louisiana or South Carolina, they could be charged with a crime. Not the individual that did it to him, not the individual that raped him. Oh, yeah, they probably could be charged too. But if they say, no, I can't have the child of this man who violated me, they would be charged with a crime. Had that been your mother, your daughter, your sister, I just want you to ask yourself, how would you feel? Sister Anderson.
I wrote a piece one time. I saw my sister's tears.
Mm.
She never shed one. She held her head up high, but her shoulders were drooping. Yeah, no tear ever fell, but I saw it and I felt them because my sister's tears were my own.
Mm.
I know what I've been taught. I grew up in the church, and I'm saying this for the first time out loud, like on a broadcast, maybe the first time, but I'm listening to myself. I'm questioning some of the things I've been taught.
Ooh.
Come on, sis. Come on, preach, sis. Come on, baby.
I'm serious because I know God, and yes, God is real, but I don't believe or I don't understand why a man thinks that he can control my body.
Mm. Mm.
Can I jump in here? If Willie Sue, are you done, Willie Sue? Okay, I want to jump in.
You just jumped in.
Oh, you if you're not finished, I'll pause.
No, brother, please go ahead.
Okay, so I want to first of all thank you for saying that. And what gets me mad, and it's hard for me coming out of New York to relocate to South Carolina and see a body of white men having control over a woman's right to choose. I don't care if it's white men or black men, but I want to talk to our black men right now. Any man can take this advice, but I have to talk to my community. First of all, why are we not standing with our sisters? Why are we not? Why is it when it comes out there for them to stand out there for the right to choose and the right to have control over their body? Why are we not standing and giving them the backing that they need? When we were out front as men in the civil rights movement, guess where? Our women were right there with us. So why are we not there for our women out there, for them to have the right to choose? Because it was just said, nobody has any rights over our bodies to do anything. So the same rights that we have, a woman has a right to make that choice. If you agree or disagree with abortion, they still have a right to choose, because that's their body. Number two, brothers, stop playing the games with women. Yeah, we all like to be lovey-dovey and this, that, and the other. And then we lay down with a woman, get her impregnated, and then we don't want to deal with the responsibility. And then we put all the responsibility on her. We got to stop that. We got to be more responsible. Because if we're going to move together as a group, as a people, we have to make better choices and be more accountable to the things that we do out there. At times we don't get on our men. We pat our men on the back, how many women you slept with. But when women do it, they are this adjective and that adjective out there at the end of the day. Brothers, stop Joe, I'm not gonna say stop
say
the
it.
BS.
Say it. You can say it.
On this. Stop
no,
the BS.
Stop the bullshit.
Shit,
That's
that's
what
right.
it is. That's what it is. Hold up, baby. This is my platform. Ain't nobody gonna walk through this door and say, "Oh my God, y'all on here and our sponsors, baby." I ain't got a damn sponsor right now. I ain't even got a damn job.
But you know, I'm a respectable person.
You're doing the work.
Hold on, I still scrape up the money I need to scrape up every month to make sure that this platform and my digital radio station is still running. So, baby, ain't nobody gonna tell me what to say or not to say. That is, listen, two words I want to use that we don't use enough: accountability and responsibility. You know, a person called me today, and I want to bring this up to y'all. Y'all got to we got to stop watching what folks say, and we got to watch what folks do. We got folks that look like us, talk like us, walk like us, go to church with us, but they ain't in no shape or form or fashion for us. We got a lot of people pimping going on in our community. When I say people pimping, I'll say it again. Here's what it is. It's the only time you about the community and about community action and about throwing up the fist and Gawe is when you got a cash app behind it where it's going into your pocket because supposedly you fighting for the cause for all the folk. If you can't profit, if you can't profit off the people, you ain't talking about what the real issue is with the people. We got people pimps in our community. I'm just saying, Sister Sias.
I want to throw in there what Brother Fatin had mentioned about the the men needing to step up. Is one thing that my mom taught me, Sister Anderson, that I absolutely understand, yet I don't think it's right. Right? Okay. She always told me the burden will always fall on the mother. Number one, that was setting us up for failure, because if I would have in turn been taught that before you make that kind of decision, make certain of all of these things. We were literally brought up that we needed a man. We needed a man. It was our job to serve and submit. I knew I was going to be a problem when I couldn't even say the word. And it wasn't because I'm hard-headed or, quote, an alpha woman. And this is where I wanted to piggyback on Brother Fatin. The reason why we Black women, or even some of the white ones, are so angry and hard and difficult is because I've had to not only be the mom, but the nanny, the grandma, the grandpa, the daddy, the uncle, the teacher, the bus driver, the cook, the nurse, the doctor, the therapist, and everything else. So no, I don't have time to clutch pearls and cross my feet at the ankle. Woo! Because I had to get it how I live. I had to get out there and throw trash cans off the back of a truck too. And yes, they were because of the decisions I made, but my children were my children. But they were also his children.
Oh, say, hold, stop.
Powerful.
Hold it. I want you to bookmark that and say that one more time, Sister Sias, for those in the back. They were your children, but they were also what?
They are also his children.
Okay. So,
and I get so tired of, because a man can have 12 kids.
Come on.
Let a woman have 12.
Come on.
We're not even held by the same standard.
Come on. That's true.
We won't have the same treatment at the doctor neither. They talk about us. They look at us kind of funny. I've seen it all. And what we need to stop doing, I'm not saying it's okay to go out and be promiscuous. See, I told you I was going to use nice words.
Woo!
It's not for us to go out and be promiscuous. It may not be for sale, ladies, but it shouldn't be for free.
Okay. So let's go there. We need to right now. I appreciate you. Both you sisters. I really appreciate. I appreciate, Willie Sue know one thing Joey could always do is listen and then talk. So let me talk for a second. She was absolutely correct. See, here's the problem. All of us are because nobody wants to be wrong. I just talked earlier in one of my podcasts about the ride and the staff. Everybody wants to staff, but nobody wants to ride. So let's get there. Here's the problem, y'all, in my humble opinion. # truth be told. We all wrong. The men are wrong for not being who the men are supposed to be. The women are wrong because most of the women aren't going to be who they're supposed to be. And because nobody's sitting there conceding, saying, guess what? In order for us to move forward, I'd rather go ahead and lose this argument and let you win. But what can we do to come up with a resolution that we correct this situation, that this generational curse don't keep on getting passed on from generation to generation? Because the truth about the matter is, because of greed and because of money is really the reason most of us in the situation we're in right now. Because if you go back and look at legislation, once again, your vote is your voice and your voice has power. There were certain agencies that would pay you a certain amount of money if you had children, but you could not have a man in the house. Okay, so watch this. So in order for you to get that check, you had to denounce what you may not really want to denounce. And understand, Willie Sue, you said it best. The truth about it is, if we really look at it, we were taught to the best of their ability, but I can be very honest. In certain situations, the best of their ability was wrong because they only knew what they knew. You know, your grandfather, my father, 9th grade education. Now, with a 9th grade education, this man sharecropped 300 acres of land and never was broke a day of his life. Never, never. When I say never, 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 never. When he passed away, he had plenty of money in the bank, plenty. However, we have folks with PhDs, master's degree, honorary degrees. Everybody wants to be smart in somebody's eyes. When are we going to do this? When are we going to say, PYP, play your position? When are we going to PYP, protect your peace? Not only your peace, but the peace of your sisters. It is the job of the man to be the protector, the provider. It is the job of the woman not to walk behind the man, but to walk side by side with the man in counsel. It is the job of the man to get wise counsel from his woman, and from his woman to get wise counsel only to him and him only to her. But we have got caught up in this whole thing of society that, guess what? Everybody can get it. As the young folks say, y'all standing on business with everybody. Everybody getting the business. Come on, family. When are we going to wake up and understand this? There are some things going on right now that we need to make the adjustments to evolve, because if we don't evolve, we become extinct. At the same time, there are some things from our past that are needed in wise counsel and wisdom for us to move on and not continue to make the mistakes we've been making. I concede the floor to whomever.
I will say this, Uncle Joe.
Okay, go ahead, sister.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Accountability has been used several times throughout this conversation. And I still hold myself accountable for some things, whether I was taught right or wrong, because the choices we make still impact others. So, and I'm just sharing here that I'm still healing from some decisions made by others, and others are healing from some decisions I've made.
Come on,
but the word is, are we trying to work through it and to heal? Do you want to be well? We can say they were wrong, she was wrong. What did I do? And what can I do? And what am I doing now? They say when you know better, you do better. Not always do we do that. Sometimes, I'm just going to say, sometimes it just feels right, or you know, or it feels good.
And
who else is impacted? Yes, ma'am.
That's a big one of mine, Sister Anderson. Feelings, because I'm an empathetic person. I've embodied so many other people's feelings that it made me sick at one point.
Yes.
So what I try to tell people is, if you're doing something out of feeling, take a minute and find out exactly what it is you're feeling. Is it nausea? Is it pains in your stomach? Sometimes them butterflies is really gnats trying to get out. You know, we go quick with the feeling, but we don't take a minute to analyze. We don't break it down. We're just a microwave generation, is what my daddy used to call it. We want everything quick and fast, air fryers and all this. And that's okay. Convenience has its place, but so does longevity. So does life lessons. You know, the family is broken, and I can speak about it because I wasn't raised in a broken family, but because of the decisions I made, I had 3 children for 3 different men, and I had to raise them all myself. When given, you mentioned about the entities that will try to break up the homes, but you have to understand, Brother Joe, when all you got is that entity telling you, here, we can help you. And he not, what is a mother supposed to do?
Hey,
what are we supposed to do? Now, me personally, I never went and put my children, I put one on child support, never put the other ones, never went back for no increase, never none of that, because I learned the rules. Number one, if you put them on there and you try to take them off, they take your Medicaid away. That's a new one that they slid on in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you're going to have a child that they made you keep that they won't help you take care of, whether it be physically, financially, or mentally.
Okay.
So my thing, we're going to fix it. We have to start fixing it where it's created.
Okay.
And it is not created with the woman.
Okay.
We are the carriers.
Right. Y'all are the seed bearers. So
let me, Joe, can I get in there? Joe, I got to get in there because y'all three, y'all said something.
Hold on. I'm going to let you get in after I say this. Two things. Absolutely correct by both the sisters and probably other sisters who are on here and those who will watch this in a replay. I teach a class where I say FFH, facts, feelings, hearsay. Stick to the facts. Stay out your feelings. Don't listen to and vet carefully hearsay. What you just said, Sister Shauna, let me be honest. The men are still responsible when you are pushed into a corner that you have to go and put papers on a man who should take over the who should have never been forced into a place that you had to force him to take care of something that was his responsibility. Still, the men are at fault. I don't blame the women when they go to where they have to go to, and it's a last resort. I don't. The men, us men need to raise our hands and say, we have been horrible fathers, present company included. There are times that I have been a horrible father because I was all caught up in my feelings. So I'm going to concede the 4 to Brother Fatim. But listen, facts, feelings, hearsay. Family, with a lot of stuff we do, we need to stick to the facts, stay out our feelings. Don't listen to hearsay and vet it quite well, because sometimes folks are saying what they're saying, not to benefit you, but just to benefit themselves and use you as a pawn in the game to do their bidding. Brother Fatim, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Let me just say this. For me to have to try to remember everything I'm going to say after the strong sisters and Joe, the points that you make is just, this shows that we're thinking, we're having conversation, but we're also thinking at the end of the day. So one of the things, as you started this conversation off and the women came behind you and dropped the bomb on this, is that you talked about understanding how we kind of got here when you look back at, say, that the man had to be at the house. So for them to get welfare, that's what it was first called. You understand? I go back to the movie Claudine. She had to hide this, hide that, hide the man. You understand? So that when the social worker came by, that she didn't show that she had a man, didn't have anything, so she could get the benefits. So what did that say? To get the welfare, you had to say farewell to the black man. So we got to remember how this process works over the time, because I forgot which sister said it, but you both were on point, and this is not to go contradict you, it's just to add, is that what Big Mama said, Big Mama, Auntie, Grandpa, they gave us a lot of wisdom, and they gave us wisdom through their experiences. And for us now, because I heard what your sister Willie said, that sometimes they gave us advice that may have not been the best advice. I look back and say, like Dr. King, we're coming off of Dr. King's day. You take the good, you extract what's not the best, and you build on that, because each generation we should get better. And that was just said by the sisters. You got to get better at what we do. Number 3, we have to be better examples at the end of the day. When we saw back in, I'm just using the 60s and the 70s, where you had more unions, more people married or together, however you want to call that. You didn't have a high divorce rate. We gave better examples for our children to see. Now, I heard what the sister said, that she didn't come out of a broken home, but she talked about her situation. But the difference in her is that she still has that foundation. She understands the choices she made. She has to be accountable for those things, but she understands the workings of a family and how it moves forward. You understand? And she understands the pitfalls. So sometimes we make bad decisions, but she understands the pitfalls. She said, I put one on child support, but she understands that how you go about it, because the bottom line, this is big business now. When a man pays child support and he gives X amount is taken out of his check, you know that woman doesn't get all that money. And
Come on.
State gets you understand what I'm saying? So this is big business. So now, yeah, they want to pull your Medicaid because they don't want to lose those dollars at the end of the day. You understand what I'm saying? So this is nothing but a revolving door. So how do we get better? How do we get better? And how do we get better when, as Sister Willie said at the beginning of the show, when they want to remove our history, we want to take books out of schools and libraries and stuff like that. They want to eradicate our history so we can't go back to learn how we were treated and how we overcame that to get where we're at today. And then also by seeing how we achieve, we can also see how those had their foot on our necks, and to see that things haven't changed with their great-grandchildren or great-great-great-grandchildren. Today, they say, well, I shouldn't be held accountable for reparations because I didn't do that. That was my past elder. But you're doing the same thing to the same group of people today.
And you benefited from it.
Exactly.
And you benefited from it. Right.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying we got to be better examples, and we got to spread information, facts, and knowledge. We got to do that, because if we don't do that, then when you're ignorant, that means you lack knowledge of something. And if you lack knowledge, then sometimes the decisions you make are not the best and healthy decisions.
Come on. Amen. Amen. You know, family, I can say this. I think many a times, and I always say this because it's very truthful, everybody got secrets until they get caught. And I think one of the biggest problems we have amongst ourselves, people of color, especially people who are African American or from the descendants of former slaves from Africa, we many a times have skepticism and are very pessimistic amongst ourselves. We don't trust each other. That's why other people can come into. You don't see too many times us venture out into other folks' communities and set up camp in their communities, unless there is some type of, I promise you, there's some type of hidden thing going on that you don't know about. But as you see, if you go right now into any community of color that is African American, you will see everybody else set up shop in our community and thrive in our community, when we will shun those who look like us, who try to do the same things within our community. We've got to, as Brother Malcolm X would say, as we just come out of Dr. Martin Luther King Day, who taught you to hate yourself? Who taught you? Because we truly hate, despise. We truly hate own. We truly say you can do good, just don't do better than me. We truly, if we can't be the HNIC, we will sink a whole project that can be the biggest blessing to our community, just because we're not on the board. We're not the person steering it. We're not the person getting credit for it. We will literally smear each other's names. Because I'd rather talk bad about you than to tell people the good things I admire about you, that I am trying to copy that you do. See, that's the crazy thing. You'll talk about a person, but you'll try to copy everything they're doing, and then try to put your own little twist on it and say, oh, I'm not copying them. This was my idea. No, it wasn't. See, the worst thing y'all did, the worst thing, I'm telling you, I done already got a couple of phone calls today. Listen, no. I'm going to speak my truth. Hashtag truth be told. I'm not saying that it's your truth, but it is mine. And I believe a lot of folks feel the same way I feel. And family, we got to have real unity in our community. That just can't be a cliche line. That's got to be, if I see it's for the greater good of all of us, sometimes I need to shut the F up. Shut the F up. I don't have to have the final word. I don't have to be the one, oh, look at me. No. Sometimes I need to shut the F up in order for this plan to get traction and to move forward. And everything ain't got to have a cash app after it. Boy, I'm killed by some of these so-called activists and community leaders that the first thing out their mouth is, you can cash app me. You can cash. And then if you turn around and ask them, man, do you have a 501c3? Do you have something where I can get some credit for this? Well, you know, see, that's another thing. I have discovered in my short time working for government, a lot of people ask for a lot from government, but a lot of y'all paperwork is raggedy. I called it what it is. Y'all paperwork is raggedy. And then we want to do what they do. You can't do what they do. Here's why. We don't have the backing that they have, and nor do we have the interlocking system of support amongst each other. Because they can hate one another. They can hate one. People who are not people of color can hate one another. But if they see it's beneficial for them to throw that hate to the side to make $1 million, they gonna do it. We won't do that. We won't do that. We will not do that. Some of us will. Most of us won't. Those are facts. Whoever wants the floor can have it.
I want it.
Okay, you got it. Come on.
Thank you. I had a few other thoughts. Poverty is a rich industry.
Say that again for those in the back.
Is a rich industry. Poverty is a rich industry. I wrote that in a national article. It was edited, so I wrote it again on my own platform. And this, y'all, don't discount intellect. Don't discount, rather, emotions as well. They are there together for a reason. I understand, don't just be irrational, but you're feeling something for a reason. You can be angry. We've been taught, be angry and sin not, but anger is an emotion that you can rationalize or be irrational about. So it's a balance. Don't discount emotions. They can drive your intellect in some ways. That's just my perspective.
I just want to. Oh, okay.
No, carry on. You go ahead.
No, I just want to say this. I was looking for. I got it. I got the name. Okay, so Joe. First of all, thank you, sister, and everything everybody's saying is just so it's pathetic, and it's good food for the soul. But Joe, you just talked about how we do what we do to our community, and I just thought about how, if you look at organized crime, I come up doing what we call the Howard Beach era in New York City, where there was 3 Black boys. There was a racial incident in Howard Beach in New York City back in 1986. And one gentleman, they were chased by whites out of the white community. Howard Beach is white. And one of the blacks was hit on the parkway and was killed. But the reason why I brought up Howard Beach and across the country, you may not know, because it's way back in the 80s, is that's where the famous gangster John Gotti lived. And when you start to look at how people that even do bad, how they still respect their community and respect themselves. You look at The Sopranos, you look at The Godfather, and they was into corruption. They was into drugs, but did they sell drugs in their community? No. Did they ever do that? But let's take a look at some of our folks in our community. I'm not elevating negativity. I just want to show you the mindset of why we do what we do. The reason why they can elevate, because they respect one another and they can pick each other up. In our community, the negative that is done in our community, you understand, is sometimes done by us in our community. So we don't even have respect for that. Just look back at look at The Wire. Look at The Wire. That was about Baltimore. The drug dealers were what? Selling drugs. Even though the drugs don't come from them, they still help destroy our community. You look at the big drug dealer, Nicky Barnes, or Frank Lucas that Denzel Washington played. What happened? Became a big drug dealer in Harlem. Both were. And they sold drugs in their community and tore their community down. Not elevating that, but I'm just showing you the mindset of us as a people. Why do we do this? We can't, like Joe said, we can't be cliches. It's not just a statement. We got to wake up and understand the process of what we do to one another. It's so ingrained in us that, like Dr. King said, sometimes it takes a revolutionary radical change of our value systems to move forward, because we're so stuck Dr. King even said that unfortunately, some of us are so stuck in doing negative or old ways, we got to wait till they grow old and die. That's Dr. King. That ain't for teen, it's Dr. King. So I'm telling you, it's a mindset why we do this. We preach, and it's the good ones that preach. We can say all these good things, but do we reach the people that are doing this to our community? And then we go outside of the community. A lot of people don't want to call his name. I'll call his name because he's a friend of mine, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He spoke to a lot of those drug dealers and say, listen, you're making my job hard. I'm going out here fighting the adversary, and then I come back, and then you're making it bad because now I got to come in here and fight you because you're not doing right. So how do I chastise them when you're not doing right? And then they come back and say, well, you're trying to chastise. What about what you're doing? We got to get better, people. We got to look ourselves in the mirror. The man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror. We better get better. We better check ourselves.
Hey, we got to start sweeping around our own front door before we go sweep around somebody else's. I was just reading a quote here, and this quote is very prevalent to what we're talking about. Understand this. There are things that are happening right now because there are great minds who know how to market, and they know how to make you believe things that are not true, and they make you believe things that are not what they are in order to benefit themselves. Watch this. Anytime that I see a brand new Jordan come out, marketing it says it's more important to stand in line for some new Jordans for a status than it is to stand in line and vote. Let me tell you something. When people can't control, they will then try to control your view of yourself to skew it toward where they believe you need to be. Understand this. There is plenty of crime. Notice how they don't talk too much about white on white crime. Notice how they don't speak too much about Asian on Asian crime, Hispanic on Hispanic crime, but they quick to use the phrase black on black crime. Notice how, and we both know this person. Fatim knows I know him quite well. Let's talk about Grandmaster Jay. Yeah, I said it. You know, whenever you put yourself in a position, you know, I talked about it yesterday. I talked about the dream, the service, and the sacrifice. But understand this, everybody who really tried to wake us up got assassinated. Either they sent us to get us or they did it themselves, but they got assassinated. Medgar Evers got assassinated. Dr. Martin Luther King got assassinated. Malcolm X got assassinated. Oh, and then, you know, sometimes we're so quick to jump on the bandwagon, not trying to be ugly, just speaking facts. We're quick to give other folks love and trust in other folks and believe in other folks. But Emmett Till is not here today because of a Caucasian woman. Black Wall Street is not standing right now because of a Caucasian woman who lied. Okay, so goes back to my first saying earlier, much earlier. Everybody got secrets until they get caught. And then when they get caught, those of us who knew the secret will jump up and act like we don't know them. It's almost like I tell people, you need to go see the Book of Clarence. You really do. You know, it ceases to amaze me how people will barely talk about movies that could inspire us, put us in a position where we begin to think, not how we should think, but we begin to think. You know, that saddens me a great deal in many ways. But at the end of the day, we are here not telling you how to think, but we're telling you you need to think, and we need to be able to sit down at the table all together with all these great thoughts and agree to disagree, but to move as a unit forward for the greater good of all of us. Because if we don't evolve, we will become extinct.
Can I just say this real quick, Joe? You mentioned that what did they do that for those that stood up? You gave examples of folks in the past that were assassinated, that were taken out by a bullet, They were taken out and their life it didn't exist no more. Now they are character assassinate you, or they'll go at you legally through the law, as you brought up.
You better
Grandmaster
come on
Jay, they
here.
went after him legally. So, you know, it's hard, and I have to take a hard look, and I'll say this, folks, because when we came on here, we were talking about the Dallas Cowboys. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, but I got to do, it's not because they lost. It's just that something happened, and I wrestle with this. And when I wrestle with this, Colin Kaepernick, who I got a chance to get to know after he took his stand for people of color, a lot of people of color abandoned that brother. And the NFL not only character assassinated him, but kept him out from working, you know, as a quarterback in the NFL, for him taking a stand for Black people. That's what they will do. And this goes back to slavery. What old Massa would do is use one slave as an example, torture, whip, or kill, or hang. You understand? And then that will keep everybody else in line. And the reason why I brought up the Dallas Cowboys, because it was fashionable at first for teams to if they choose to kneel. But then the owner said, if any Dallas Cowboy that would kneel, then they would be fined or cut from the team. So that's what I'm saying. It shows that when they use one as an example to whip us all back into place. And until you get to that fork in the road, and we all get to that fork in the road when we have to make that decision, what we will do. And a lot of people will not take that choice to stand on principle and lose that job, lose their prestige. You understand? Because they don't know how else to survive. So that's why I'm saying that those brothers and sisters that stand up, we got to stand up and support.
Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to start with Sister Shauna, then I'm going to go to Sister Willie Sue, then I'll go to Brother Fatim, then I'll be last. So we're going to bring this to a close. First of all, I really came. This went solely somewhere that God needed it to go. But I came on here. It's cold. It's cold in a majority of the places in this country. Make sure that you check on your folk. Check on your plants, your pipes, your people, your pets. Check on your people. Man, Brother Fatim, you said a mouthful. I'm going to give everybody a chance to give some closing remarks. I'm going to start off with Sister Shauna. Go ahead and give us your closing remarks, my sister.
I'm going to go ahead and say that, Brother Fatim, you hit me straight in the chest with that one, because I was one of those who stood up and said what I said and lost plenty jobs. Still have not found quite another yet. And I was offered everything from positions to money to just change what I said. And I refused. It wasn't because it gave me any monetary anything. It actually has caused me more stress than it would probably actually worth at the time. But I am the kind of person that if it is wrong, it is wrong. I will not sit idly by and let anyone, Black or white, mistreat us ever again. You ask, how far is one willing to go? I'm going to end with this one, and it's a quote that me and my brother Rod Sire share together. And it is, there is a certain level of poverty that I am willing to reach to save my people. And that's all I got.
Sister Anderson, you are next up, my dear.
Unmute yourself.
Oh, yeah. Unmute. Hold it. I'll unmute her. There you go. Unmute yourself. Can you unmute yourself? Hold it. Wait a minute. Okay, unmute yourself. I'm going to let you do it.
She can't.
She can't unmute us. Hold it. There you go. Hold it. Go. Do it again.
There it is.
Ah.
I'm still learning. And truth be told, hopefully we all are.
Yeah, we are.
And so I appreciate the opportunity to join you all today. And I'm just going to go back to something we were talking about, just relationships and these feelings. I talked about our emotions. Y'all, if the liver is quivering, you might want to get checked. I just wanted to put a little humor in there, but seriously, if he makes your liver quiver, she makes your liver quiver. Yeah, I'm all for the emotion and the fluttering, but we need to get checked.
That's it. Was that it?
That's it.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. Some real food for thought, Brother Fatim, my brother from another mother.
I appreciate that. First of all, it was an honor to join you today, Joe. And you know I was very, very, very tired. But for you, my brother, I'm here. And this, like you said, God has a way. And to join these two powerful sisters here, brother, you got something here, brother. I feel it. You got something here. I'm not telling you, man. You got something here. And I just hope that this turns into something and we'll talk further down the road. But this is something I'm so glad that I was part of. Let me just say this. Sister Shauna talked about, I believe, and if I'm correct, she's assisting with 2 stray dogs, I believe, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And then Sister Willie said that, you know, she was talking about the organization that she was part of about helping the people like a homeless and things like that need assistance.
Come on.
Look at both of those circumstances right there, that they have the love in their heart to help, to assist. And I just want to say to my final words is, folks, you got to take a look in the mirror and you got to see where you're selfish. And you got to work on not being selfish, because it's not always all about you. It's about us as the collective at the end of the day. Of course, you have to take care of your house before you, as Joe said, you got to sweep around your house before you go around, sweep around other people's house. So you definitely got to take care of your house. But I saw something today as I was coming back from the airport today. And I'm glad Sister Shauna.
Yeah.
It said that she took in the stray dogs. I was driving and I saw 2 stray dogs on the road, and the car behind me slowed up because I at first I didn't know if it was deer or what, and the car behind me slowed up, and I don't know why they slowed up, but it looked like they had concern. That's the right thing to do. What's the right thing to do? There's nothing wrong with that. But I also see people zoom by people that is asking for a little assistance on the side of the road, and they just drive by. As we say, we got to check ourselves, and we got to see where we at with our values. Because if our values are warped, then we are going to be warped as a people, and we're going to be warped as a nation. And that's why we are warped as a nation right now, because the people that the majority of the people that are in control have warped values, and now are you seeing that we are in a very shaky and wobbly system right now. So that's all. That's my final words.
Wow. So let me thank my niece, Willie Sue Anderson, for blessing me to come on a day like today. Let me thank Shauna, who comes on quite often, doesn't have to, but she does. Let me definitely thank my brother, me and this brother. Woo, we go back. And much love to my brother, Lenny Green, the Quiet Storm. I can't even get his voice. You know, Lenny, my very good friend at Fatim. I was introduced to Lenny and Fatim because I used to be a director over a station where I loved their show. They were a part of our station. They are a part of that piece of what we had that made it what it was, and it was great. I keep hearing in my spirit, thank y'all for coming on. Thank y'all. So here's what I'm going to close with. I keep hearing in my spirit, don't talk about it, be about it. Many of us say and quote scripture and quote holy parchment, but we don't live the scripture. In the scripture, just listening to what Brother Fatim said and what Willie Sue said and what Sister Saya said, I keep hearing in my spirit, what you do to the least of them, you do unto me. Now, here's my disclaimer. I'm not a preacher, a pastor, a minister, a bishop. I don't carry those titles, but I can read. And maybe that's what all of us need to do more of, reading, and then ask the divine creator, whatever you may call him, or whatever you may call her, however you look at the divine creator. Maybe we should ask for infinite wisdom and discernment to impart of us what we are reading. How do we make this world better by using those principles? I close with this like I used to close on the radio, and thanking my people who are on here as I really get ready to bring this thing to a close. Always remember that there is no secret. There is no secret what God can do. What he has done for others, he will and he can do for you. You just have to have faith and believe. For when God is with you, nothing or no one can stand against you. I'll be back on tomorrow. Listen, if it's cold and you need shelter, if it's cold and you need help, please reach out to somebody. Do not sit there and suffer in silence. If nothing else, inbox me. Reach out to some of these people who have been on my platform. We'll try to get you in contact with somebody somewhere to do the best we can. Love one another. I believe that there is hope, and never let anybody kill your hope, because a hopeless people is a hopeless people. All right, y'all be blessed. We're up out of here. I'm going to close. I'm going to close with something I want to close with. I'm going to close with this. I want to close with this. So family, just remember, I love you. God loves you. Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. We out of here. Peace. Let me see.